What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope you're all well. I'm great, thank you for asking. We're back in Crayford today. We've got a pull session now. I wanted to go through my session with the same style, methodology, thought processes behind the decisions we take with picking weights, the way we set up exercises, intensity, the way we rest, with each of my sessions. So we're on to pull today. So we'll talk a little bit about why we pick things where, the decisions we're making as we go through. Yeah, like just the thought process behind what I do, and I hope you guys take a lot of value from this. Let's get into it. I've been alternating this standing with a normal barbell and the cuffs. The cuffs offer a slightly alternative angle, and they give you the ability to manipulate the resistance profile a little bit. We'll put this up on the elbows, and we're trying to keep our arms as straight as possible as we come through. You're gonna feel a pulling point when your lat gets a little bit weaker. As soon as your lat gets in that position, you'll feel it. You'll try and keep your arms straight. You'll come to here and you'll go, oh, this is hard now. This is when we'll bend at the elbow and we'll pull in a little bit more, trying to get even shorter. This is really just working mid to short range. We don't end up in that fully extended position in the lengthen range, because we're gonna do many exercises later on down, which is gonna really maximize that lengthen and mid-range. This is all about getting short. We've got the pad here to take out any spinal load, and also to pull against and to really maximize getting that lat short first. The reason why we get our lat short first is because that ability to get in a fully contracted position slowly but surely gets harder and harder and harder the further you get down your session. So for those people who throw those pullovers on at the end, it's no good, because you're so tired that really you're just doing this. You can't get that pullover right in short because you're fatigued already. So let's warm up and we'll get into it. This is how you get into it. I get this question 10 times a week. This is how you get into it. You brace one arm, you come over, you put the other arm in. You should be strong enough just to hold the weight. Hold both arms, use your body weight, loop a leg over. You've still got good control. Once you've got the weight, we're in. Oh. If you're someone who struggles to feel their lats, someone who can't get that mind to muscle connection to their lats, and you go straight in and you do rows and you do the standard, try a pullover first. Try to get some blood in that muscle first. And I say it for chest, I say it for legs. If you struggle to feel a muscle, try get a pump in it first. You're much more likely to have that connection to it. Okay. So meat and bones, barbell row. I know you guys love to cuss me out for using machines. That's not why I'm using a barbell, but I'm using a barbell here because it's a big movement. I actually alternate my bent over row with a deadlift. You guys have been watching me deadlift over the last few weeks. Now, my capacity to recover from spinal loading is pretty low. Just as someone who's a little bit taller, someone who's had a little bit of back injury in over the years, generally speaking, my tolerance to load in that mid-range hip flexion or even any lower is not very high. So if I was to deadlift every pull day, which I do every 4 days, I wouldn't even be walking. I would have dust for my spine. That would be what it is. I can definitely row a lot more than what I can put on here, but I also wanted some of that benefit of loading the lower back in that position, but not so much that it's a 200K deadlift. Instead, it's going to be 140 kilo-ish in terms of a row. So let's load it up, see what we do. I think one thing that I noticed for me is that I can row 140 and I can move it fast. My issue becomes when I'm holding mid-range hip flexion. So when we're in that position, you've got lengthen range, you've got mid-range, you've got short range of hip flexion. So really in a barbell row, you want to be held in mid-range the whole time. Holding that position with 140 kilos on your back for a minute-long set for me, I fatigue faster in my lower back than what my row feels like I can do. So I don't think this is a gospel. I've only got this in my plan because I know that I want to get stronger holding things in the mid-range because I want a bigger deadlift, I want a bigger lower back. But for actual back development, and I know people are going to shoot me for this, I don't know whether this is the best because you've got so many variables, and what I like to say is the more stable the environment, the more accurate the environment. We've got to hold mid-range hip flexion, I've got to hold the weight here, I've got to pull right in, I've got to make sure I don't pop up, I've got to make sure I don't shrug it. There's a lot going on when we could take those variables out and be a little bit more accurate. Of course, you'd probably say, well, why are you not doing that then? Well, because sometimes you've got to move some weight, and that's what I'm going to try and do, so. Yes, it's fucking easy, come on. Ooh. 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 Ah, fuck off. I just feel like there is so much that I'm missing on my back when I'm doing that, and it frustrates the fuck out of me because I just can't hold it in that position. Might have to swap this out. So then based off that last set, based off the information that we gathered on that set, and what I could feel, and from what I watched back on the video, I'll pop out of that mid-range. You just pop out. When you're in that position, you just fucking pop out, and I can't help it. And that just tells me, let's just lower the weight right down. Let's just focus on pulling it. I stand by what I said to say that this is not a huge back exercise, and you're all gonna hate me for that. It is entirely back, but the connection to my lats is just, it's not great, but we've got more to go in the session that we'll do it. So we moved something pretty hefty in a good horizontal movement. Vertical plane, that's both. Horizontal, yeah, horizontal. Wait, no, yeah, horizontal. We moved something in a horizontal plane in the form of a deadlift. It's also not a fixed movement. So now we're gonna go into a more of a fixed movement and a vertical plane. And when we're looking at a back exercise, we're always trying to make it drop off the closer you get to being contracted, because of what we said in that first exercise, that ability to get short gets harder. We've not really worked it in an uber short position other than the first exercise, and that exercise not being very energy demanding. We've still got lots to go in that vertical plane. So we're gonna move over onto the Nautilus pull down machine here. And the good thing about this is the way the axis of rotation is, it actually makes out so that it drops off the closer you get in. So if you do have this machine in your gym anywhere, highly recommend you to get on it. These are the sets that I live for right now. These uber fixed movements where you're not swinging and it's straight lat power. It makes you fucking grow. Whoa! Oh. Fuck. You'll notice on this is super flexible at the D handle. It rotates, it moves side to side. So it's so unique to you. Because where I rotate, you might not rotate. Where I reach this way, you might reach that way. These fixed handles, they're no good. The fixed handles, they don't make sense to me. If you can ever maneuver the handle, much, much better. Oh. So we're on to the back off set. Top set was 90 for 7, a hard 7. I generally, like I said, the 20% rule, 20%, 18 kilo down, 70 kilos. Last session was 65 for 14, 65 kilos for 14, so I've got 70 on there. I'd like to think I'll get toward 14. But that first one felt quite heavy, so let's find out. uh, 12. Ah, come on. 13, gotta get it. Oh. Something that people, I don't know if you guys consider it, but as I go along, I like to just throw out what I think. A lot of people you see do unilateral work. They'll do their working arm, and they'll go straight onto their other arm. And I think I'm gasping for air on one set. Just relax. We're trying to put as much effort into that single lift as you can. You can't expect to put the maximum effort in directly after putting that maximum effort in. Whether it's left or right, like right or left, it doesn't make a difference. Just instead relax, get your heart rate back to normal, and then do the other side. We're in no rush. We're here to destroy this muscle. We're not here to get in and out. You know, enjoy your time. Rest up when you need to. Take 2 or 3 minutes between arms if you need it. Something I think people brush over. So last week was 125 for 8. So naturally I've got to stick 130 on and see what I can get. The one thing to note is that I actually did this before my pull downs last time. Not for any reason other than someone was on this earlier and I thought, you know what, I fancy a good pull down. So we'll see if we can get close to 8. But again, we've got to take into consideration that if I move this for 6, 7, I've still got a huge load progression, 5 kilos of extra tension coming through. I appreciate it doesn't always work out into extra volume, because if you do the literal translation of volume, sets times reps times weight, that might not progress, but actual mechanical load in the muscle will. And that's still giving you a benefit in terms of hypertrophy. So don't chase load just for the sake of load. You still want volume to be trending upwards, but don't be afraid to try new weights to see where you're hanging around. So I took got 5 then, very, very heavy. Definitely, probably could have got a few more if I'd done it before the extra exercise, but I'll take that. Like, the connection to the muscle was really good. My positioning was really good. Something that I've been doing before is maybe slightly trying to twist with it, maybe slightly trying to pull back a little bit, but that was just locked in. So it felt good. So we'll do the other side, and then we'll try and beat the back off. Oh, shit me. So one thing you guys might notice is that I'm not using this like most people use this traditionally, of just sitting in the pad and pulling. The reason for that, much like I said in the first exercise and the third exercise, our ability to get short, fully contracted, has started to drop off. Now it's started to drop off. We're on exercise 4. So if we look at the axis of rotation, the axis is obviously on the point right here, and the load is away from it. The further away the load from the axis, the heavier it's gonna be. So right in this position, you can see it's gonna be super heavy, and it's gonna continue to get heavy as long as we're up against this pad. It's just gonna be heavy to heavy, which is fine if you're pretty fresh and you're only trying to work that length in a mid-range. But we're still trying to get a full contractile range here. So all we do is we step back, brace with the non-working arm, and all this does is it pulls where the weight is closer to the axis of rotation. That just allows a straight drop off. So it's still heaviest when we're strongest, which is fully lengthened. Still heavy when we're mid-ranged. But as soon as we creep over that axis, it starts to drop off and we can actually drive in to get short. So all it's doing is just manipulating where the drop off is, where the resistance profile is of the machine. And it's a really, really easy fix to a machine that every fucking gym has. And I see a lot of people who are struggling to get it up, and that's just because they're tired, they're fatigued. So all you need to do is non-working arm braced out. I like to do it fully straight and just driving into that pocket. So we'll take that thought process, had that top set, which is really heavy, lost a few reps. Back off set was the same weight as last time, matched reps. Now, on paper, technically probably regressed. We take into concept where we've been so far. For example, we did a row, which sometimes I do a deadlift. So a deadlift is much less taxing to actually contraction on the lat. So actually I was rowing this time, so there's more fatigue coming to the lats. We then did the single arm Nautilus pull down first, rather than this. So the fact that I'm hanging in with my numbers, despite being slightly more fatigued from those first 2 movements, that's a PB for me. There's more tension going through that lat. There's more total volume coming through that lat, and I'll take it. My lats are pretty milked. I mean, we've done 1 vertical pull in the cuff pull downs. We've done 1 horizontal row in the barbell row, which is a lot of load. We've done 1 single arm pull down, which is a lot of load for a lat as well, especially single arm where you're really just directing that intent towards the lat. That's 1 more vertical pull. We've then done another horizontal pull in the unilateral hammer strength pull. Another big load, another big bang for your buck exercise. At this point, if you're doing a very big movement, like, I don't know, a big wide cable row, or maybe a dumbbell row, I think you've made the wrong decision there. And I think because central nervous system taxation is a real thing, and you can view it as you've got one tank for the session. The higher impact those movements, the more you're going to take away from your fuel. And right now we've had a big chunk. We've had another big chunk. We've had 2 other big chunks, and we're running close to empty now. I can feel it in myself. You know, I'm sure you guys can feel it towards the end of your workouts. Maybe when you tag on arms, you're a bit like, I can't be bothered. That's why I don't do arms at the end anymore. So we're in this position right now where we're just trying to milk what is left of the lats. And it's going to come in the form of a dual D-handle pullover. So the D-handles are here because they can rotate and they can be unique to my pull. And we're just going to do 1 single rest pause here, an intensity method of going to failure around 12 reps. We're going to rest 20 seconds, we're going to go again and fail. We're going to rest 20 seconds, we're going to go again and fail. All of it's going to be on the same weight, and it's just a way to fully milk those lats in that vertical plane of motion. We've then got 1 lighter exercise after, which I'll tell you about afterwards, and then that's back done. So we'll jump into this rest pause 3 set points. Oh. Oh. We have annihilated lower lats and upper lats, to be fair. This is just to kind of really touch on those rhomboids, the traps, rear delts even, and just all across the upper back. I actually have an issue with this in the fact that it doesn't fit me in terms of how long my torso is, where my hands are. So we switch the like this is supposed to be one of the first ones that you do. And if you have a T-bar row that fits you pretty darn well and you can fucking anchor into it, definitely think about putting it first. Like I said with the barbell row, I feel like I could row more, but I need a pad there. And a T-bar row offers that for you. So if you have a T-bar row that fits you, solid. This doesn't fit me, so we move the focus of this towards upper back. So I shift up the pad a little bit, and the weight has to come down a lot more. We do 2 lighter sets, and it's all just focused on driving my elbow and abducting away from my pec and just trying to drive up high. Rather than normal T-bar row, you're just trying to row it and you're just trying to do whatever. I'm noticeably focusing on driving my elbows out to try and work the whole of the upper back. Lower back's done, lats are fried. We're just going to touch those little bits and then we'll be good to go. So considerations for the rear delt here. Your rear delt is used in every pulling movement. Just biomechanically, it is used in everything. I have a rear delt pump right now, I can feel it already. And this is a big reason why rear delt volume, maybe even front delt volume from all the pressing that you do, it can be toned down a little bit, and you can just utilize maybe 2 or 3 sets at the end of a session, because whether you like it or not, for a big T-bar row, for a barbell, all of those, the rear delt is playing a part in. So you've got to consider it in terms of direct volume. You might not need as much as other big, powerful muscles. Oh, I'm done. Tired. I'm ready to go. So that is session done. Another really good session in the books. I think I think the thing about bodybuilding is that you don't get that gratification straight away. It's delayed gratification, and it becomes about stringing these weeks in and weeks out together and together and together. It's about having a good week and then having another good week and having another good week and just holding on to that the best that you can. And we've been having a good month, so that's the best thing that we can do right now. We're in full-blown off season. We're growing very well. We're training very hard. We're eating perfectly, and I'm doing everything in my physical power to get to that pro card that's right here every single day, in my dreams, when I wake up, when I go to sleep, and we're working for it. I hope you guys can take a little bit from that pool session. There's a lot of things to consider. You don't need to consider them all. You can tell me to fuck off and you can do what you want, but this is just something for you guys to try and get out of. Just thinking about your sessions a little bit, much like that push workout, just being tactile with where you're choosing things. Sorry, tactile, is that the right word? Tactical? Tactical with the way you're putting things. And just know that there are better exercises than others, and there are things we can do to exercises that we know to make them better. And I wouldn't be dogmatic in your opinion of doing that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be back very, very soon. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye.